Hi everybody, sanibonani. Welcome to my channel. Igama lami nguNtando Mdletshe, and on this channel sikhuluma ama-reality TV shows, ama-celebrities kanye nama-YouTubers. If it's your first time joining me today and you really like my content, do not forget to press the subscribe button la ngezansi. Kanti-ke futhi you can like the video and also watch adverts on this video uma ngabe ufuna ukusupporta i-channel. Listen, you guys, I want to talk about this scene right here from the Mommy Club episode 3. This is the high tea event Mrs. Mobs. I guess this is at her house. Okay, the mansion. All right, the Mobs mansion. So this was a set up, you guys. Listen, I guess it was a small event. I think because Mrs. Mobs is very critical of the other ladies, I thought I expected something a little bit more or something. I didn't expect just a table with a white cloth. Okay, I thought it was she was going to go all out for this event because it's her, and I know that she would have criticized other people's event if it wasn't her event. Anyway, the ladies were looking really good. Okay. And of course, she had something to say about everybody's outfits. That's it. That's her thing, Mrs. Mops. Okay. So, but what I want to talk about on this scene is the confrontation, which wasn't really a confrontation. I felt like they thought it was going to be a confrontation, but it ended up being a very matured uh, talk between Miss Manche and Happy. Okay. So, listen, you guys, something happened in the last party that they went to, okay? And at that party, we did not see this one thing that, they talk about. I'm going to try and play just a little bit of the clip of Mrs. Mobs telling the story of what happened at the party because apparently Manch's son had, remember, it was Numurai's baby's birthday. Okay, so Miss Mancha was invited with her kids, but one of her kids at some point licked the cake. Can you imagine, guys? Kids can embarrass you. So he licks the cake. Okay, obviously everybody is shocked, and then Happy makes a comment to say you are wild, directing that to the kid. Okay, because it is wild for a kid to lick somebody's cake at a party that is not his. Okay. I guess Miss Mancha was triggered because her child was being called wild and she wanted to have a talk with Happy. I think, honestly, Mrs. Mops and Miss Mancha had a conversation about this whole thing. And I think that Mrs. Mops thought that it was going to be a confrontation between the two of them, and I thought that the other ladies were disappointed that the confrontation didn't happen on the table because Miss Manche decided that she was going to call Happy aside and they could have a talk. And the other ladies thought that the conversations would happen at the table, which I don't understand why they wanted that, you know. And when the conversation didn't go as bad, I felt like I saw some disappointed faces with the ladies. Okay, they were acting like they are happy that the two ladies were not fighting, but I kind of feel like they wanted that, they wanted a bit of drama. So when Miss Mancha arrives at the table, because she arrived before Happy, she tells the ladies, "Listen, I have something that I need to talk to Happy about that happened at the event." That is when Mrs. Mobs is like, "I know exactly what happened," which I think because she is close with Miss Mancha, they probably talked. Okay, and then when Happy arrives, which she is arriving with Ratile, who was not invited to the event. That's another story. Because I thought, why didn't you just tell Mrs. Mobs we were coming with Ratile? So she arrives and then she's being told by Miss Mancha that, there's an issue that we need to discuss, whatever. And then she was like, she offers herself, like, listen, if you want to talk to me, we can talk on this. They go to the side, they talk, okay? Of course, she is shocked that Miss Mancha took it so personal that she said her child is wild, okay? Listen, you guys, am I wrong in thinking that is wild? That is wild that your child licked the cake. And I know it's nothing, there's nothing that Miss Mancha did wrong, because children can just do crazy things sometimes, especially being around other kids. Maybe he was already hungry and they were taking long to give them the food. So I understand it, but I don't understand that it's a crazy expression to say, yo, that is wild that he actually did lick the cake. So I didn't understand Happy's explanation about how she had a medical issue with her tongue, and and at some point she couldn't speak. So when Manche's baby uh took out her tongue and licked the cake, then it was really wild for her, but she did not mean. But behind that whole explanation that didn't make sense, she was trying to say, listen, it wasn't there was no bad intention behind me saying that. It's not like I mean that your son is an animal or anything. I was just shocked by what he was doing. So I had no bad intentions at all. And she apologizes, they hug. I like that they handled it like that, you guys, because I think it's because Happy was willing to listen to Miss Manche. And even though she did not understand why she had overreacted, but she was still willing to offer an apology and say, listen, I did not mean it that way. I would never say that. Your kids are beautiful. I like them. I like you. And, let's end it here. So I like that it ended that way. But I really feel like the other ladies were hoping for some drama. I feel like that, especially Mrs. Mobs. Mrs. Mobs had drama. Okay, I felt like she was hoping that there was going to be drama between the two of them. Let me see if I can
how
pick
we met.
Where you
this
from?
part
Kalami.
of
Oh, okay.
so bazongishaya ke elokhuzeni. Sizoba interval la ngelinye ilanga. Okay, no, I want you guys to see how much Mrs. Mobs is exaggerating this thing. The way she tells the story, I was laughing. Yes, I was so I was also laughing because unehaba.
Gossip. Okay. But
Oh,
there was a situation that happened at your birthday
What happened at my party?
that I wasn't happy about with one of the ladies. I don't want to talk about her here when she's not here, but I don't want you guys to be alarmed when I do ask her to see me for a few minutes.
Seko is definitely talking about Her Majesty, definitely, because I was there, Mrs. Mops was there. She's the other fourth person that was there is Her Majesty.
Oh, I know exactly what happened. I was there.
So when we were at Zidane's party, we were dancing, having a good time, and then obviously the cake was on full display. Little Noah goes up to it and takes a big lick. Sarah cringes and she's like, oh my gosh, Noah, stop. Her Majesty says, oh, Noah, you are so wild. Yo. As I she went from 0 to 100, but she kept it together. She was like, he's not wild. He's just very energetic.
That moment was so
I got dramatic in telling that story. But yeah, that's what happened, you guys. Basically, like Mrs. Mops is saying, the child did lick the cake, and then Happy made a comment. And I feel like Miss Mancha is more unhappy about Happy's comment than she was about the child actually licking the cake. You guys, children would embarrass you, but at least it's children, okay? Anyway, you guys, that's how it went. I like the fact that they had a mature talk. Anyway, you guys, thank you so much for watching this video. If you have a comment about what happened on this scene, you can go into the comment section, like the video before Pumegiona, share it with your friends, with your family, and even with strangers. Ntanda, cool.